Moose at the box, y'all smash the like button, get subscribed if you have not already. LSU defeats Little Rock, come from behind fashion. They advance to the Super Regionals where they will face West Virginia, 2 wins away from Omaha. There is so much to go through from that ball game. What a game, what a roller coaster of emotions, quite honestly, from anyone who saw it. That game started, and it felt like you were watching the same bad movie. I mean, there's really just no other way around it. I mean, it was the same damn game for the first 3 innings, and that was very unnerving. Like it just was. You take the lead in the first inning, like you've done in every game so far in the regional, and then you have the shutdown inning from Cowan. He faces 1 over the minimum. And in the bottom of the second, free passes. 3 of them from Cowan. And that's a guy who had walked 10 all season coming into tonight. Walks 2, hits a batter, and you end up in trouble, obviously, in that inning. And 5 runs come across. And you committed your first error of the regional in that inning. And I'll tell you, it felt like a choke job was imminent. Like, it really did. It felt like the moment and the pressure was swallowing them up. And, you finally get out of it. Kase Evans comes in, makes some pitches. He was incredible, and we will get to him. I have long thoughts on him. But you get to the top of the third, and it felt like I even tweeted this, like, you have to respond right now. Like, you can't go quietly because you don't have any momentum. Like, there's a lot of ball left, but you just have no momentum at this point in the ball game. And, you load the bases and you get nothing. And it's, again, very reminiscent of the night before. And it feels awful. But then Kase Evans turned it on. And that was the first flip of the momentum. And I'm going to tell you right now, that was very reminiscent of Thatcher Hurd in 2023 in relief of Ty Floyd against Oregon State after that rain delay. Almost an identical line. Kase Evans goes 6 innings, throws 105, 106 pitches, season high, career high, easily, like no doubt. Punches out 12, and until the 7th, hadn't walked a batter. Had 11 punch outs. Kase Evans, starting in the 4th inning, he allows the leadoff man on, then gets the fielder's choice. On that fielder's choice, he would retire the next 10 he faced and struck out 9 in a row. He struck out the side consecutively. He struck out the entire lineup in a row. Like, you want to talk about a legacy game, that is legacy game from Kase Evans to a T. Like, you go look up legacy game in the dictionary, and you're just going to see a picture of a guy who looks a lot like Tony Vitello, but is very much better looking, and is Kase Evans. That was incredible, and you needed it. That's what you have to have in these types of spots where, you know what, at that point in the game, you weren't playing well. It looked like you were cooked. And Kase Evans put the team on his back, because that's what great players do. And while I want to celebrate him, I also want to point out what you saw tonight is the reason I wanted him to start all week long, because he is a stuff guy. Kase Evans is a SEC starting Friday night guy. He is the only other pitcher on this team that has stuff comparable to Anthony Ianson and Cade Anderson. And what I mean by that is he can mix. He's gotten multiple pitches. Obviously, the velo's there, but he can mix fastball, slider, changeup. Not everyone else on this staff can do that. Ianson and Anderson are the only ones other than him. And it's why, and like, I understand what his numbers were and whatnot, in his last couple of starts. I get it. But he's one of 3 guys on this team that has that. And I wanted him to get the start because of it. He didn't, but he ends up showing up when you needed him most. He hangs 5 straight zeros, again, retired 10 in a row at a point, and struck out 9 in a row. Struck out the order consecutively. He stepped up when you needed it most. He was absolutely awesome. And that guy that's your Friday night guy next year. Like, they'll go into the portal, they'll get a starter here and there. They absolutely will, because you do every year. But until someone unseats him, that's the guy. And I'm telling you this, with whatever it was, 105, 106 pitches from him, he's in line to start if you get to game 3 in the Super Regional. Because depending on which day you play, I mean, you're not going to see him on Friday. You probably wouldn't see him on Saturday. So game 3. But then again, if you need to close it out and you want to go there, you go there. He was great. And again, it was very reminiscent of Thatcher Hurd to me in 2023. When he came in, he punched out 12 against Oregon State, just like Evans did tonight. And not only that, at the end of his outing, where, man, it looked like he was losing it. Like, he was gassed. He was tired. And Jay kept leaving him out there. And I was actually shocked that he came back out for the 8th inning. And that almost got hairy, man, because you allowed the tying run on base before you went and got him. But Anthony Ianson comes in, and he's awesome. Evans is one half of the story tonight, and he's a big part of it, but he's just one half. The other half of the story is Ethan Fry and Luis Hernandez. Ethan Fry and Luis Hernandez were absolutely incredible. Fry was incredible all weekend. I get it. Angel Cano had a great regional. He really did. The kid came in hitting like 214 and raised his average almost like 50 points. But, man, I just don't know how you don't give it to Ethan Fry. And they didn't. They gave it to Angel Cano. And, again, he had a great regional. But Ethan Fry, the way he put his team on his back tonight down, that bases clearing double with the bases loaded in the 4th was what LSU needed to ignite them. That's what they were looking for. And it was such a mature at bat from Ethan Fry. How easy it would have been to go in there and try to tie the game with one swing. Like, we're all thinking it in that moment. But he stays disciplined and drives the ball backside, which is exactly what you want in that spot. It clears the bases, and you're in business. And from that point on, LSU, starting in the 4th, scored in 5 of the last 6 innings of the ballgame, including the last 4 straight. The offense snapped out of it. They found themselves again at the plate, and you hit 1 through 9. 4 for 4 for Ethan Fry. He drove in 4 of your 10 runs. And he did it when you needed it most. He's been awesome all year, and he was, again, the move to the 2-hole, it worked out perfectly. It got him extra at-bats when he was the guy, swinging the hot stick for you. And then Luis Hernandez. And y'all know my affinity for Luis Hernandez. That's a kid who doesn't show up in the batting average, but he has gotten big hit after big hit after big hit after big hit for this team. Do we need to run through him? He tied the first game against Missouri with a 2-run homer when you needed it most. He had the game-winning home run against Mississippi State. He had the go-ahead run against Texas on Friday night. He had multiple doubles, a 3-double game at Oklahoma when you needed it a lot. Tonight, just look. Sunday against A&M, he drove in, I believe, 3 out of your 4 runs in that game. It doesn't show in the batting average, but that kid is an absolute X factor. He had 6 hits the last 2 nights. He drove in 3 on Sunday, the tying home run, and then the home run, which was just a no-doubter to left, to make it 7-5 and give you a little bit of breathing room. Luis Hernandez is clutch. Luis Hernandez is an X factor, and he is a major, major, major part of this team, and I could not be happier to see him really get hot here at the right time. And then Jared Jones. Where's my guy, DJ Trauma? I saw he sent in the $10 super chat. I assume it had something to do with Jones. It won't let me pull it up, DJ. I do apologize. But, man, when you needed it most, 2 for 4 night, and that was a rocket. And I think we all thought that center fielder was going to catch the ball because he was just a menace to society. And I'm really, really glad that he didn't. And that was the dagger that you needed. And it was really, really appropriate that Jared Jones, Jared Jones, came through in that moment because of the struggles he had in the regional, but he stayed the course. I mean, he had a couple bad at-bats tonight, y'all. He really did. Like, those strikeouts, he expanded the zone. One of them was on a check swing. Like, he had a really, really rough night. But for him to come through in that moment, that's huge. So many heroes in that game tonight for LSU, and just so very well deserved. It starts with Evans, then it goes to Ianson, Fry, Hernandez, and Jones. They were great. I thought Milam's at bat which ultimately gave them the lead with the infield in. He was down 0-2. He just puts the ball in play. It's what you need from a veteran. Milam had a great regional too. Postseason Milam, he's here. I mean, he is he's moving, man. He's absolutely moving right now, and that's great. And what you saw tonight was a lineup hit 1 through 9, and when they do that, they're really, really dangerous. I love the fact that Jones did struggle this weekend, and LSU, outside of that little stretch from the second inning through the third inning today, so what is that, about a 11, 12 inning stretch, they played great offensive baseball this weekend like they do at home. I'll tell you what else this reminded me of. It was really reminiscent of the Omaha series from earlier in the season where you had that bad 10-inning stretch on offense and it cost you a game in the middle of that series and you came back and pulled away in the doubleheader. This one wasn't quite as dominant, but you saw the offense find itself and flip the switch again. They did it 1 through 9. And you know what? The lineup shake-up, it worked. You had your guys in there, but it worked pretty well. Like it did. So, you know what? I love that it worked. And we'll see kind of where it goes. And before we get to questions, you know what? Look, I'm looking back in the stadium and Little Rock's exiting to a round of applause. And damn it, doesn't that team deserve it? Few things I would like to say on Little Rock. Number one, they brought absolute heat with their walk-up songs. I mean, just banger after banger after banger. Fleetwood Mac, I mean, that was just so good. Little Foreigner, I mean, they brought the heat with the walk-up songs. Their pitching coach has an absolutely elite mustache, like one of the best lip sweaters anyone has ever seen. And on top of all that, in all seriousness, that's a really scrappy baseball team that played their ass off, that had some hard luck this year, that obviously is deficient talent-wise compared to a team like LSU. And they came in here and won 3 games. Let's be honest, they were talent deficient to every team in here, maybe outside of Rhode Island, and they came in here and won 3 games and pushed LSU to the brink and had this place real nervous after, 2 innings, 3 innings? That's a scrappy club, and Chris Curry, the hell of a head coach. He's going to get another opportunity at some point, and I wish him the very best in that. It's a good guy, man. We had him on our airwaves this week. He was awesome. Just listening to him post-game, true class. Respects the tradition of LSU a hell of a lot. So I wish that guy and his team the very, very best going forward. And you know what? They didn't play their best, the last 2 nights, LSU, but they found a way to win, and that's important. That's what championship teams do, and they did it. That being said, they got some things they got to correct with West Virginia coming in here, because that's a team that fell short in a Super Regional a year ago, actually to North Carolina. This could have been back-to-back years you faced West Virginia in a Super. And they're going to be hungry, and they got a rest day today. I don't know if they've announced the schedule yet. We'll see. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Doesn't really matter. You're going to get to play at home, and that's really good. So Joseph Brignat says, where's the Muso who said Little Rock wasn't worth talking about? I don't think those were my words. I know I said there's just not much there, and I said that a lot, and they proved me wrong. You reserve right to show me, prove me wrong, and they did. That's an awesome team, man. I'll wear that. Again, I don't know if I said they weren't worth talking about, but I'll certainly wear that. All right, y'all get me in a few questions here, and then we'll wrap it up. Y'all get me in a few more questions, and we'll go ahead and call it a night. We'll have a full recap of the weekend, probably drop tomorrow, where I can dig into some of the numbers and really go into it, and then we'll turn our focus to West Virginia. Alex said MVP Evans or Fry. Of this game, co-MVPs. Of the regional, it actually went to Angel Cano there. So Curry LSU, that's a fun handle. Says keep Reeves in. I think what they have going now works. I like Braswell's glove. Reeves probably gives you a little bit more with the bat, but I think I think they'll kind of keep that rotation going. Colby says, will we see more pinch hits for Larson? Yeah, I hope so. Y'all know, huge Ashton Larson show. We love this. What's all the Cageonomics love? Don't get me wrong. I love Cageonomics, but what did he do? Let's see. John, says, do you run that batting order back next weekend? Sure, why not? Yeah. I mean, yeah. You got timely hits out of it. So, yeah, run it back. I mean, like I said, I think the changes had something to do with it, but the guys they have in there, they executed better at the plate. And that's ultimately what you needed to do. But, yeah, run it back. Why not? Oh, Gray, thank you. Was Cowan just off today? I forgot to talk about that. I'm concerned now. I'm officially concerned. The changeup is just not as sharp as it was. It's not as crisp. That's his best pitch. And if he does not have that, the fastball just doesn't have enough on it. I mean, he got it up to 94 a couple times, but he's got to have that changeup. And it is not crisp, and they're taking good swings off of it. Not only is he missing when it's in the zone, they're taking good swings, and that's interesting. That is something to watch for this team going forward for me, because you need somebody at the back end of your bullpen. Whether that's Evans, if you're up 1-0 and you want to close out the Super Regional that way, I'm fine with that. Whether it's Chase Shores, if he can refine the consistency he had, Jacob Myers, you have to find somebody else there, because my confidence is now shaken in Zach Cowan. I think the pressure got to him there, but again, it's the same deal with the changeup's just not as crisp, and they're taking really, really good hacks off of it. And yes, Nathaniel's right. This is where you miss Gavin Guidry. Like, it is. That's a veteran arm who has pitched in these spots before, who can get outs, who can get outs and can get you a strikeout when you need him to. He's really good, man. Thank you, Milky Swank. Appreciate that. You're a guy for that. Love it. Jesus. Chris Clavin says, so what do you do with Cowan? You keep running him out there because he's been one of your best. I think you just have to pick your spots a little bit more carefully. DJ, if you're going to troll, get the record right, pal. They're 46-15. If you're going to troll me, troll with facts. All right, y'all, throw in a few more. Y'all smash the like button, please, too, and get subscribed. Andrew Sapp, when do you think Ianson in the Supers? Probably game 2. Probably game 2. He threw well over 100 pitches now. I mean, he threw 90-something Friday. It's probably game 2 there with Ianson. I think that's the right move. You feel great having Evans. You feel great having Evans and not Evans, excuse me, Anderson in that spot. How big do you think experience of this game will be going forward? Huge. I mean, huge. But, that's kind of what this team has done in a sense. I mean, they've had one losing streak all year where you lost more than 2 games. They've been very resilient. That's like we had a guy in here the other night saying the team is mentally weak. And it's like, no, they're not. Because, I mean, they've won 40. Like, teams that are mentally weak don't win 46 games. Like, this team has been strong, and I think that was proven to a T here tonight, where you were down and out. Like, it felt like they were choking. And then ultimately they come through with big swings. They get things back on track. Kase Evans is awesome. Anthony Ianson is great. That's great. I mean, that's the resilience you want. So, yeah, I think the experience is big, but there's been a lot of games for them this year where the experience was huge and will be huge. Hogg and Costello, they entered the portal. I'm not surprised. I mean, those guys did not get a lot of time, and LSU is going to go into the portal to get infielders and a first baseman and all of that. So, that makes sense. Well, these are coming in way, way too fast. Let's see. Do you think Jay sticks with the batting order? Yes, I do. I think Jay sticks with the batting order for Supers. Musso, do you blame Jay for not starting Evans in a Sunday role? Imagine if we had him all along. Are you talking about in the season or this weekend? And no, I don't blame Jay Johnson. I just disagree with his decision. But it worked out. It worked out. And I went through that earlier in the show, but if you're just hopping on, I'll say it again. And this is not hindsight. You can literally go back to any show I did this week, and you will find me saying, I want Kase Evans to start in this regional. And that was why. Because he is a Friday night ace, potential guy in the SEC. He is a stuff guy. He is the only other player on this team outside of Anderson and Ianson that can mix that effectively with 3 pitches with plus stuff. And that's why I wanted him out there in a starting role. I understand he struggled the last 2 starts that he had, especially the one against Arkansas. I don't care. Little Rock has not seen that. They don't see that very often. Tanner says, could Cowan move to middle reliever instead of closer with a couple? Yeah, I think that'd be a good spot. I think that would be a good spot there for him, middle relief. Sure. I mean, you got to keep running him out there. He's been one of your best. You just need to pick your spot a little bit better, watch the matchup that you put him in, and roll with that. Parker G says, is Devin Sheeran return a possibility? No. Y'all, I've been pretty consistent with this. They're not going to put Devin Sheeran in a game just to put him in a game, especially at this point in the year. You're running a risk there. Like, you are running a risk putting him in, potentially, depending on spot. So I think you just wait till next year for that, and I think it's probably a good thing. Jack says, I think I call you Jake like every night, dude. I'm sorry. Jack said, no, come back. There it is. If we get to the back end of the bullpen again and don't have a guy like Ianson to rely on, do you think Rizzy goes or a guy like Binge or Ware, assuming something? I don't know if Rizzy's the guy there. Maybe. I mean, if Myers hasn't pitched, I think you could definitely see him there, depending on what Shores does. But I get it. If you're down at like the back end of your pen, who would you go to? Yeah, maybe Rizzy's that guy. It's just you run the risk there of balls, of a lack of command. I'll tell you, honestly, what I think is I think they'd go back to one of their top arms that's already pitched. Like they did, with a guy like Ianson. If you're in a must-win spot, I think you're going to one of your top arms. It's kind of already thrown. So, but that was gutsy. That was a really, really gutsy win. Jake Foster says, am I surprised that only 4 SEC teams are in the Supers? Not really. Did I think there'd be more? Yeah, but would I say that I'm surprised? No, because I think Vanderbilt and Texas, each of them overachieved all year long, and it finally caught up to them. The injury bug in Texas's pitching staff finally caught up to them. They had to stay in a winner's bracket. They didn't. And they didn't really have great pitching depth to begin with this year. And their offense, while it was good, it wasn't nearly as good as any of us expected it to be when you looked at the preseason rankings. Vanderbilt had maybe 2 weeks all season where they were really hot at the plate, and that was it. Other than that, they were a great hitting team. I'm not going to actually sit here and tell you I'm surprised that Georgia didn't make it. Wes Johnson hadn't made it out of a regional yet as the head coach of Georgia. That's actually kind of just par for the course there. So no, I'm not. Like, I think the 4 that made it are the 4 I would have actually, like, if one of these 4 didn't make it, I would have been surprised. If Tennessee, Arkansas, LSU, and Auburn did not make it through, then yes, that I would have been surprised. And also, 4 teams, you're making up half the damn, almost, you have a chance to make up half the field in Omaha again. Call me surprised. The demise of the SEC, greatly exaggerated yet again. It's just ridiculous what people want to do there. And I'm not a conference guy. I don't want any SEC team to win anything of significance because it hurts LSU. Ethan Fry Burner, where's Binge been since the middle of the year? He's lost his role. It's that simple. They've pared it down. He was the guy they trusted to put out fires, and eventually he couldn't put out fires. Walter, thank you. That's true. I forgot. Arkansas and Tennessee are paired with each other. You have a chance to make up almost half the field in Omaha. But, he wasn't executing. And we talk about it every year. They have to pare things down. They did, and Connor Binge didn't make the cut. Does your arm get tired? Tyler's wife. No, Michaela. My arm does not get tired. That's why I switch pretty frequently, as you could see. So they don't get tired. Irv says, does Cade Aaron Beatty catch again this season? Yeah, I think so. Probably. Maybe. Not starting, but he might come in as a defensive replacement. Give Luis Hernandez a breather like he did on, what was that, Saturday night against Dallas Baptist. I could see it in that in that regard. Tanner Sullivan says, most dangerous team left in the field and most likely to win it all. Now, I really like North Carolina. I like the Tar Heels a lot. Scott Forbes has a really, really good team up there in Chapel Hill. I like Arkansas a lot. Arkansas, who has had plenty of trouble getting out of their regional as of late, cruised through. They've already beat Tennessee at home once. Let's see if they can do it again. And y'all are going to think I'm crazy, but I like LSU too. I do. I really, really like LSU too. Average OG, I have not done research on West Virginia yet. That's why we will probably do like an all-encompassing recap of this regional for the next show and then dive into West Virginia. I could tell you they didn't play the toughest schedule, but they won the Big 12. They lost their last two series and actually got swept in one of them and then had an early exit in the Big 12 tournament. But they really turned it on and won that Clemson regional. So they'll be formidable. One of their starting pitchers has an absolutely incredible Fu Manchu. I also know that, and he's up to 95. That's just because I watched part of their game. But, man, that was a fun night, gang, and one they definitely needed. Definitely needed. And you know what? This is what I was saying too. On El Cabrera's Jr., and I think someone's going to take a chance on him in July just off of this weekend alone. I really do. I think he's got great size. He came in here and performed against some of the best competition that scouts have been able to see him go against. I'm not saying they're going to call him early, but 19th, 20 round, take a flyer on him, give him a shot. I mean, the guy looks the part. So I think that kid made himself actually a little bit of money this weekend, which was awesome. Thank you, David. I'm glad we get to do this another week of games too. I really am. Yeah, man, that center fielder, Zach Henry, big shout out to him. I mean, that kid's a damn gold glover. He caught everything out there. He is a redshirt senior. Also, shout out to the student section, giving him love, chanting at him to hit the portal. But redshirt senior, he's out of eligibility. His career ends, and what a way for it to end. I mean, that team proved me wrong in a lot of ways, man. They really did. James Allen says, does Ethan Fry get drafted this year? Somebody will probably take a chance on him. He's going to have a decision to make, and it'll be a really important one for LSU. Because if he comes back, that's most likely your first baseman next season. So, and boy, that'd be a huge bat to have in the middle of your lineup. And that'd be very akin to Jared Jones a year ago. What he did. So, I mean, just hats off again to Kase Evans, y'all. He was absolutely awesome. And at Legacy Gang, like, that's your guy next year. Keep him healthy, because he's gonna be a big part of the 2026 LSU Tigers. Man. I'm so glad they didn't lose that, y'all. Oh, God. I did not want to have to get on here and yell and be angry. And it would have been a show for the ages. But I'm going to tell you right now, we're all happy they won that. Ain't nobody happier than Jay Johnson. He didn't want to have to wear that for the rest of his life. And he would have had to wear that for the rest of his life. That man could have won 2 more national championships here. And a lot of people would have come back and pointed to that. Much like a lot of people do with Ed Ogeron in that game against Troy in 2017. It didn't matter that he had the best team in college football history. Everyone still brings up that game. It's just an albatross that Jay would have had to wear around his neck for the rest of his life. Ain't nobody happier they won that series than him right now. And man, they did a great job. Showed a lot of fight, a lot of heart, a lot of grit, a lot of toughness, and a lot of fight. They fought like tigers, and damn it, you needed that. So, Just awesome. Just awesome. Oh, there's a question from DeGoat. You heard. Can we be the home team at our Super? You will at least for one game because the NCAA sucks. It's the worst. It's the worst rule. All right, guys. That's going to wrap it up for you tonight. Y'all smash the like button, please. Get subscribed. Appreciate everybody, even you, DJ Trauma Gaming. Appreciate everybody, and y'all be here next time for more on Moose at the Box.